Last week, I gave a little points of advice for running something like the B6, or I got the MX5 up there, for running those direct with no amps, not using an amp. There's one thing I forgot to add into that video that you should be aware of. Have I personally experienced this problem? No. People have experienced it. Gear is too expensive to take a chance, so I try not to. But when you're running your direct out, your XLR, into a PA system, or this can work for any recording device, because I'm going to use recording devices for an example here because I don't feel like dragging out a PA system. I mean, I do have a little mixing board up here that I play around with a little bit. But when you plug in, you have to make sure that the channel you're plugged into, they don't have the phantom power on. So for example, on this Alesis board here, turn the phantom power on. It's just a switch, which turns it on to the 4 XLRs. So if you were using your direct out on your B6, for example, into one of these, and you have the phantom power on, you are technically sending power back into your output here. Another example is here. I use a Tascam DP32 for recording stuff like that. It's pretty much my little home mixer here. I got computer coming into here, so I can, if I'm having to learn any songs for anything. I got a guitar, stereo channel, bass. I got a vocal mic here. But when you come up here to the inputs, so for example, my vocal mic, it's a condenser. Got it hanging right above there. That requires 48 volt phantom power. So on your inputs on this Tascam, you have 8 inputs here, but the phantom power is only selectable for these 4 inputs. For these 4 inputs. So I have the condenser that requires the phantom power on those 4. These 4 back here, I don't run it. I don't want to take a chance of sending any power back in, frying any electronics out. I do know this is a big deal with laptops. And they make DIs for it. Here, another example. I do play with Studio One every now and then. So here, if I had to run, let's say I wanted to run the Zoom into channel 1 and a vocal into channel 2, without running a separate preamp for that microphone, you know, I have to run the 48 volt here, the phantom power. Well, that's applying it to both inputs, which is again sending that 48 volts back into your XLR. Just something to be wary about. Pay attention, depending on how your PA system is. If you're on a older analog board, something like this, and you want to run in, you know, you're going to have to use your 1/4 inch line outs, 1/4 inch right here, into one of these, because the phantom power does not run over those. It only runs on these XLRs. You could even, you could even go into one of these, a little better angle here. One of these, you read the manual for this mixer, and phantom power does not go through those line inputs, only the mic inputs. You have your 1/4 inch inputs here. They say the phantom power doesn't run through it, but if you take this apart and look in there, it's all the same wires. I don't know. I know it's only the 2 leads are making contact, but you come past that 3rd contact when you're plugging a 1/4 inch into that. So it's not, I don't know. I don't think it's worth taking the chance. They do make phantom power blockers. I don't have one. I don't use one. Most DI boxes with transformers in them do eliminate that. Any backfeed of phantom power coming in. Like, I know the radials do. But, again, it's just something to watch out for. You don't want that phantom power coming in. I mean, hopefully nothing would ever happen if you do. Hopefully the worst case is it just shorts something out in the jack. But your worst case is you have a complete shutdown of your board, rendering your board useless. Unless you know anyone who digs into electronics, by the time you usually pay to get something like this fixed, you can just buy a new one. But I hope that helps. Everyone give me your inputs on this. If you think I'm crazy, comment on it. If you agree with me, comment on it. Let me know. I love reading about that stuff. Anyway, thanks a lot.